The war had just ended, and there was a camp outside Vicksburg that had been established as a holding area for the Union POWs. They were waiting to be transported home. The government had agreed to pay $5 for each enlisted men and $10 for each officer who made the trip. On the return trip, they were headed to Vicksburg, Mississippi, but they ran into trouble. One of the steam engines sprang a leak. The steamboat struggled to make it to Vicksburg. The mechanic wanted to replace a ruptured seam, but Mason did not want to because by waiting he could lose money. Mason instructed the mechanic to make a temporary patch repair, which took only 1 day. When the Sultana finally arrived at the camp, more than 2,200 men were cramped onto the ship with standing room only. The overflow was so bad the decks needed additional support. Many of the men were weak from incarceration, injury, and illness. One reason people think there were so many soldiers on the boat has to do with bribes. It is said that Union Army Captain George Williams was afraid that some of his colleagues were accepting bribes from steamship captains. Thus he ordered all soldiers at the parole camp and hospital at Vicksburg to be put on the Sultana. At 2 a.m., a broiler exploded. This resulted in 2 other broilers exploding. Part of the upper deck fell into the open furnace boxes and fueled the fire. The men were thrown off the boat, some of them killed instantly, while others awoke to find themselves flying through the air. The men from Kentucky and Tennessee were among the first to die, because they had been packed in around the broilers. Jerry Potter, the writer of the Sultana tragedy, stated, "It was like a tremendous bomb going off in the middle of where these men were, and the sharp steam and boiling water killed hundreds." Most of those that survived sought safety in the water. However, the weakened men quickly lost strength. They clung to others who could also not stand the cold temperature. Whole groups drowned together. Eventually, another steamer came and rescued the survivors. Many of the survivors landed on the Arkansas side of the river, which was under Confederate control. Franklin Hardin Barton was a Confederate soldier who rescued several men that day. A few weeks earlier, he would have been obliged to fight them on the river, since he was with River Patrol. Other soldiers were rescued by local residents. The 1865 Fogelmans managed to rescue 25 soldiers and sheltered them. Although the accident had a higher death toll than the Titanic, it was delegated to the back pages of northern newspapers. As Stephen Ambrose for National Geographic wrote, April 1865 was a busy month, and it was. Confederate soldiers under Robert E. Lee and Joseph Johnson had surrendered. The Confederate President Jefferson Davis had been captured, which had ended the Civil War a few days earlier. Furthermore, Abraham Lincoln had been assassinated and his assassin had been caught and killed. For the 150th anniversary of the disaster, which was in 2015, the city of Marion, Arkansas, opened a museum to show how the explosion happened and memorializes all the soldiers on board. It is filled with pictures and personal items from the soldiers. There are also pieces of the Sultana and a 14-foot replica of the boat. Although there will never be another accident like this one, there is still a lesson we can learn. Never push stuff off. It is never a good idea. In the end, all it causes is stress and, in this case, death. Another thing we can learn is to be like the locusts and Confederate soldiers. In Hebrews 13:16 it says, "Do not forget to do good to others and share with them what you have. These are the sacrifices that please God." If there is an important lesson to take away, it is to help others, no matter if we are on different sides. I once read the story of Dirk Williams, an Anabaptist. He had escaped from prison and was heading across the ice when a palace guard saw him and chased after him. His pursuer was heavier and crashed through the ice. Derek heard his cries and went back to help him. In the end, he was taken back to prison and burned to death. However, he is someone we should all strive to be like. We should do as Derek did and help whoever needs our help, even our enemies.